Well, Jeff, tell me, first off, let's talk a little bit about the decision to run and seek the full term. I think a couple of years ago you told me that was kind of your intention, and it sounds like nothing changed your mind. And what was your thinking in going ahead and running for a full term?
Yeah, like you said, nothing's changed since we talked last time when I was appointed in 2012, filling the remaining 2 years on a vacated seat. I've enjoyed serving the last 2 years. It's been challenging at times, but I've really enjoyed it. And there are projects that we've been working on here. One, we've continued to see our fiscal situation continue to get better and better. We're growing our reserves. We're trying to trim some of the excess here in the county that we felt like that we had, and ways to find efficiencies in government. And I think we've continued to do that. I think we've got most of the bulk of that out now. And now I think we'll see our efficiencies are going to be smaller and smaller now. But I'm excited to continue to find those, and then some of the other smaller projects we've working on. A new website that the county's just recently rolled out. And I think that's going to be a great service to our citizens. I think we had a website that was probably one of the first websites ever made, and just not interactive with the citizens. And now we've got functionalities that allow citizens to real-time. Our sheriff's really appreciated. I know he's real-time information out to the citizens, and it's allowed citizens to real-time information back to our officers as well. So I think that's another thing that I'm going to continue to work on and grow, is that interaction digitally electronically between the citizens and the county. So
I know when you were going through that appointment process, one of the things you talked about was really, I think, trying to take business practices and really apply it to the county. You feel like, looking back over the 2 years, you feel like that's been one of the accomplishments you've seen?
I think it has, especially financially. We've taken that approach with it. But I think anytime you're a brand new commissioner, you've got all these ideas and these things that you want to do, and you're really humbled when you come into government. So while I had a lot of goals that I thought I would bring in from the outside, you come in and you see that all those changes aren't they're not only not necessary, but they're not feasible to implement as well. But what we could bring in, I think that I could bring in, I brought in and suggested and worked on that. But yeah, it's definitely been humbling at the same time too. So.
This last year has seen its share of controversy, especially this year. Just generally looking at that, how do you feel you've been able to navigate through some of those troubled waters?
Sure, it's definitely been interesting, especially the start to 2014. I guess one thing I would say is I think the controversies have maybe been overplayed and overstated a little bit. So while we have had controversy here, I definitely think it's definitely been overplayed and kind of kept there at center stage. But, we've worked through it. And I think ultimately, especially in the treasurer's office, I think we're going to come out with a better treasurer's office and in general a better county. I know we've implemented new hiring procedures and policies. So I think in general as a commission and countywide, hopefully we'll implement these new policies, learn from, we took our lumps and hopefully we've learned from those. And the treasurer, again, especially, I think we're going to come out with better policies and procedures and yeah.
I know that's one thing in county government. Sometimes you have to adjust on the fly, and this almost feels like it's been a little bit of that time of period. But a lot of times you emerge from that tunnel having learned some valuable lessons.
Certainly, and I think that's exactly where we're at. Like I said, we took our lumps, but I think we're definitely going to come out of this better policies, procedures, and standards as a county. So.
What's one thing, Jeff, if you looked at another term here and you say there's maybe one idea I've still got on the back burner, on the notepad, I'd like to be able to bring and work forward. Is there perhaps one thing that is an idea that you'd sure like to work on?
I think it's just generally, and when you hear it all the time, and this is one of the things that comes from that business standpoint, is I want to see us get more proactive instead of reactive to everything, especially our road situation. It was one of those situations that we couldn't foresee or predict, especially with the snowpack being at what it was this year, and then the flooding washing out our roads. We had just horrible situation with our roads. But I think if we were proactive in our capital improvement plans, our plans for our roads, and just general infrastructure, I think that's where I'd like to see us go, is just proactive instead of reactive. And I think in the long run it'll save us money.
And a lot of times that can drive economic development if somebody's looking from the outside and says, hey, they've got a plan.
Certainly, yeah. So I think that'll kind of pair together with our private sector as well. So.